Hey, what's going on Facebook Live? I wanted to do a quick stream here and talk about voting violence and the real voter suppression that I've seen during the course of this campaign. What's going on Facebook Live? I just wanted to do a quick stream here before I head to work and drop off my ballot on the way to work. But one of the things I wanted to talk about, and I did a couple of recordings a couple of weeks ago, and I never got around to editing them properly and to make a good video out of it. But what you are looking at here on my screen is one of the Seattle Antifa accounts, and these guys are allowed to post whatever they want. They're allowed to keep doing this crazy stuff here. This is the Youth Liberation Front Seattle Division, and you can see the meme right here. No cops, no masters, no streamers, election day, November 3rd, block up, and they've got a ballot box on fire. Okay? Here's another one from End Seattle. Every night, direct demonstration. End Seattle. They've got the same meme, and this meme is all over Twitter. If you look up on Twitter, you just do this, hit the search bar and hit Seattle protest as your search query, and you'll see that. But all through the campaign, we've seen crazy amounts of violence, and that's the real voter suppression, in my opinion. I heard somebody talking about how, Trump's calling for people to watch the polls, and that's voter suppression. That's a real volunteer opportunity. If you go and sign up at your, I don't think you even have to sign up. You can just show up and watch the polls where people turn in where they count the ballots. You can watch them from a distance and observe, be an election observer, I think it's what it's called here in Washington. This is the picture that I've got up on the screen right now. This is MAGA Barbie, and she went to the Women's March a couple weeks ago and was carrying a flag for the president. She got beat up. This is a Fox News story of a guy, and it's this guy right here. Let's see. I just want you to see this guy real quick. This guy right here. This is a black guy in San Francisco. Team Save America was his Twitter handle, and he organized a free speech rally to protest against big tech censorship, which I've seen a lot of on my own Facebook page. And his rally was overrun by a bunch of people. It says an organizer of the protest had a tooth knocked out, and he had a tooth knocked out, another tooth hanging by just a little thread of cartilage. The conservative group Team Save America organized an event to protest Twitter, which it argues censors free speech. And then after this story hit the news and went viral, he had his Twitter account suspended. Okay? I had my own Facebook account shut down for a meme that Facebook didn't like, and they ended up retracting that suspension after only 12 hours. But here is Seattle City Council member Tammy Morales saying, "I don't know why looting bothers people." She doesn't know. She can't figure it out. She can't figure out why looting and burning things in downtown Seattle bothers people. Here is a video of my campaign signs. I've done a couple of videos and a couple of posts about the signs getting destroyed, and I've seen countless posts from other candidates here locally of their signs getting shredded, destroyed, stolen. It's happened to me several times, especially in Mount Lake Terrace. Mount Lake Terrace has been a literal war zone for my campaign signs, and I spent a lot of time just going back there, putting the same, repairing and reposting the same exact signs over and over. Here is our Defend Seattle Police. The first Back the Blue rally that we had in Seattle had over 2,500 people show up. It was amazing. We had local celebrities. We had former Seahawks player who's now a pillar of the community show up, and I posted some videos of that guy speaking. And overall, that was an excellent rally. But the second one that we had, the Defend the Police rally, that one was overrun by people in dressed up in black bloc with their faces, not only with face masks, but with Halloween style masks that cover the facial structure, the bone structure of their faces, and fake hair wigs poking out, all to disguise themselves, because they say that anybody with a camera, your camera is a cop, is what they say. And here's another rally, flag and sign waving event that we had in Canyon Park, Bothell. And I was doing a live stream during this event, and during the live stream, there was a bunch of free breathers also doing a protest very close to us, and they were in the PCC parking lot because a lady had been kicked out of PCC and banned for life for not wearing a mask, a 60-plus-year-old woman. And then she went back during our live stream. She went back into PCC with a group of these free breather anti-mask people, and she ended up getting arrested by a bunch of Bothell police officers. They showed up in force, and there was like 4 police cars that showed up. But while that was happening, simultaneously, my wife decides to decide that she has to leave and go somewhere at the end of towards the end of our event, and she separates from the group and walks into the Bartell's parking lot across the street from the PCC to go where her car was parked, and immediately a girl dressed up in black bloc, one of the BLM Antifa people that had showed up to counter our event, pulls up in the parking lot and rips the Culp sign out of her hand, rips the sign that she had made, the custom sign that she had made, and screams at her about spreading hatred, and they punched her in the throat. While my wife's trying to hold on to her signs, she hits her in the arm, she kicks her in the crotch, and ends up getting away with and leaving with my wife's personal property that she had. And we called the police, and they took a message, and it took over 24 hours for the police to respond just to take a report. Nothing has happened from that. You'd think that they would be looking for getting the video from the events, or getting the video from the PCC or the Chase Bank parking lot. None of that happened. I don't even know if that's under investigation anymore. Here's an event we had on the 20th in Mill Creek, and one of these, seems like these people, just like this lady that I've got here on the video, they show up, at least one of these people shows up to almost every event that we've had. And this lady showed up blaring the F Donald Trump song, F Donald Trump. It's about every other word in the song, F Donald Trump, from Nipsey Hussle, I think it is. And she's screaming at us, screaming at me. We didn't have a Trump sign in the whole thing that I can remember. Maybe there was, but for us at least, we were holding my campaign signs. There was a whole bunch of Culp signs. That's who organized the event, was the Culp for Governor crowd. And she shows up asking why we are, and screaming, literally screaming and saying F you, F you. And then she flags me down when we're leaving and says, I'm open-minded. I want to know why you support so much hatred. And I asked her, I said, ma'am, you're the one who's showed up to our event blaring vulgar music with kids around. And the minute my kid opened his mouth, she looked at him and said, F you, right to his face. Okay? And that is a hypocrite right there, where she accuses us of bringing hatred or spreading hatred. And we had a positive event. All smiles. We had tons of positive feedback from the community. And this lady shows up, trying to drown out our event with this vulgar music. Here's an event where in Redmond just last week, where my friend May Sims and Andrew Maxwell, they did a Culp for Governor sign waving event in Redmond, and a couple of these black bloc thugs showed up, and you can see right here in this video, this screen grab that I got, where this is a woman who's dressed up. I call her the Potbelly Antifa Goblin. Look at that. She just hit Andrew in the face. And then she steps back like she's trying to be, some sort of UFC fighter. I mean, just absolute insanity with these people showing up to our events and trying to, in my opinion, suppress the vote. In 2016, I didn't vote. In 2016, I filled out my ballot. My wife and I filled out our ballots, but it was a dreary, rainy day, just like it is today, and the polls had me really down in the dumps. We had, in my opinion, tremendous voter suppression in 2016, we saw all the polls showing that Hillary was going to win by 96% or something, and that really got me down. And it was a combination of things. Now I'm taking a vitamin D supplement in the dreary rainy seasons, so that's I find that to be personally helpful as far as keeping me positive. But one of the reasons I signed up to run this year, when I got the notice from the county Republicans that we had an unopposed Democrat, one of the reasons I stepped up to run was to give myself somebody to vote for, give myself a reason to keep going and keep pushing through, because I knew that we were going to have the same kind of crap, the same kind of fake news showing these crazy biased polls, and I wanted to give myself a reason to be able to make it out to the ballot box on election day. But this is insane. We had just a few days ago, a GOP congressional candidate in Ballard. He's one of the guys running against the crazy congresswoman in Seattle, and he gets into this altercation with the same crazy hateful teens that show up. It's not, I keep seeing, like, we had a guy in Woodinville a couple weeks ago that during one of the Trump trains, he pulled a gun on these crazy teenagers that show up and splashed him with dirty water. It might have had crap in it or something, but you could see that he'd been splashed with something, and he had pulled a pistol on them and pointed it at people. And obviously that's not, I think they're lucky it didn't escalate further. But at the end of the day, anybody who wants to excuse those kids and say, oh, how dare you pull a gun on children, sorry, these kids were made their own decisions by getting in and getting involved with this kind of stuff, splashing people, assault. That's an assault. Assaulting people that are at, a campaign event is not acceptable. That's not how we do things here in America. That's not a peaceful, that's not peaceful anything. There's nothing peaceful about that. It's showing up and splashing people with things and screaming F you, and being vulgar. There's no excuse for that. And yeah, there's no excuse to pull a gun on people, for, there's obviously a disproportionate response there, but people who are going to go out and provoke the situation by assaulting people, that's not acceptable. And that's what happened here. These teenagers from the Ballard High School show up, and the way the news makes it out, they say, oh, this congressional candidate body slams a kid on the ground. No, if you watch the video, the kid is going haywire, and his arms are flailing, and the candidate for Congress just calmly grabs him. You can see the little video there. Let's get past the news ladies talking. There's the parents saying, oh, they want people to be held accountable. So here's the kids stealing someone's sign and trying to trash it. Oh, that guy got pushed. Oh, you see that little push? And they say, oh, he pushed him near the road. Sorry. And then you can see the guy here in blue, somebody whose arms are flailing and throwing punches, and he ends up calmly grabbing them and throwing them aside. He didn't body slam anybody. He took this kid and who was throwing punches at his face and wrapped his arms around him and set him down. That's what it looked like to me. It didn't look like, oh look, he's got a little scuff on his knee. Here they wait till, here we go. Are they going to show it? Oh, there it is. Oh, here's the body slam. Look at that. That guy right there is a candidate for Congress. And yeah, he has a right to protect himself. You get mobbed by a bunch of teenagers. I'm sorry. These kids are getting pretty close to, in lots of places when kids of these ages commit violent crimes, they get charged as adults for a reason. It's because they are almost in adult bodies. And so when you're a group of kids assaulting people who are out waving flags for a campaign, and you show up and start cursing at them, that's election violence. That's the real voter suppression right there. And now you have this Antifa account, and I've been seeing this little meme all over the place, where they are actively promoting the burning of ballot boxes. They say no more masters, calling all revolutionaries, anarchists, and anti-fascists. They want to shut it down. And these guys have a number of other things, but they are calling for total abolition of not just the police, They don't want to abolish the police by itself. You think they're going to end with abolishing the police? They want to end the democratic process totally. They want to end the republic. They want to end voting. They don't want any of that. They want to own the streets. They want to be in charge, and that's what happens when these people get rid of the police. And we've largely seen that where the police have had their authority and their power taken away in Seattle. Somebody had asked me the other day, "Does my vote really matter?" I'm telling you, yes, your vote matters now more than ever. You need to get out and turn in your ballot like I'm going to do right now. I'm going to go turn it in. Don't give it to anybody if they're waiting around, if they're saying, "Oh, I'll take that for you." Do not give your ballot to anybody. Turn your ballot directly into the ballot box. And if you've got time today, take time off of work, whatever, become an election observer. You can go and do that and make sure that the rules are being followed. Because if anybody knows what happened in 2004 with Dino Rossi, we know that it came down to 129 votes after 3 hand recounts. Dino Rossi won the governorship, and then after all of the counties had reported in, and King County was the last county to report in, and Dino Rossi won the election. And it was only by a few thousand votes. And they forced a recount, and they had another recount. And by the third recount, they had found enough ballots in trunks of cars and who knows where else. But they were finding ballots well after the election day, and it came down to 129 votes, and Dino Rossi lost the election, and they stopped the recounts at that point. Okay, that's what's going to happen with Lauren Culp and with Jay Inslee if everybody doesn't vote. Your vote matters now more than ever. You need to vote like you are casting the winning vote, like your vote is the winning vote, and we're going to win by 1 vote. That's how important this is this year. So if you have not turned in your ballot, please get out and turn in your ballot. And then if you know any friends, any neighbors, anybody around you, anybody that you work with that's less likely to vote, people who are like, I'm not really going to vote, it doesn't really matter. It matters. And you need to motivate people, offer to buy them lunch, offer to buy them a coffee, whatever it is, to take off the time and say, hey, I'll buy you lunch, and we'll if you can't, whatever, I'll take you out to lunch, and we'll go turn in our ballots together. Okay? Drive somebody to the ballot box and have them turn in their ballot. It is that important this year. Every single vote matters here in Washington State, and for us to reopen Washington, it's going to take every single vote being cast here, because we've seen the kind of corruption, we've seen the kind of ballot harvesting that happens after the fact when we have a close election here. We need to have enough votes that we overwhelm any negative corruption and ballot harvesting that's going to happen after the fact. So this is the most important. Everybody says that all the time. They say that every single election season. This is the most important election of our lifetimes. It really is for Washington State. Because if we don't turn this state around, they're going to shut us down again. They're going to lock us down. They're going to declare us all, everybody who's not working for the government or working for big tech, they're going to declare us non-essential, and we're going to be forced to stay home again. And I don't know about you, but that's going to bankrupt me. If I have to go without a paycheck for another month and a half, that's going to bankrupt me. So for nothing else, for your own livelihood and the future of your children, you need to make sure you get out and turn in your ballot and find 2 other people that haven't turned in their ballots and help them get to the ballot box. Thanks for tuning in, and I hope that we can turn this around. I hope we can reopen Washington, because today is the day. So I'm off to work, and I'm going to stop and turn in my ballot at the ballot box. So have a good day and stay safe out there, everybody. I think it's a good thing that it's raining right now. I think because that's the only thing that's really stopped the burning protests and riots that have happened. The rain really seems to dampen those, so I think that's a good thing. But good luck out there to all the candidates, and I hope we can get some real change in Washington. So thanks for tuning in, and don't forget to vote.